Okay, guys, we're back. So hopefully you watched the first little part of that, and we'll connect with the second part of it here. So we have a guest that's joining us, so we're doing a little friendship talk. So you'll just listen to us be ridiculous. Okay, so my confidence was incredibly low. I was dealing with a lot, and the reason that this was so important, and the reason I say that sometimes people are dispatched to you, because I was not in a state where I valued myself. I was at that corporate America job. I was making $10 an hour for 10 years. I was working. I had a little storefront with my psychic work and stuff like that, but I didn't believe in myself. Allison was the first person who came into my life, and she said, we don't work for free. I don't work for free. You don't work for free. And you're greatly undercharging for your readings. And that was such a powerful moment for me. Quite literally, I wore red today because red deals with our root chakra, our finances, and grounding and family. Allison is family. But Allison and her daughter, Legacy, both taught me about financial solvency. It doesn't mean that they just put money in my hand. While she did pay me the most I'd ever been paid for a reading the day that I did the reading for her, that first day we met, she was empowering me. When you meet up with soulmates, and this is something that's really important to know, you will connect with their energy and they will help you grow. So you both will come with things that you are equipped with. So Allison was equipped with financial solvency, abundance, and she really ushered that into my life. I came with my psychic and spiritual stuff. She already had some of her own. And so we intermingled that, and both of us have grown. But she grew me in incredible ways. So while I worked very hard for what I did, she empowered me and believed in me and was like, no, you're not working for this. You get paid what you deserve to get paid. And it took a journey. And then the world started to believe as I started to believe. And then I was, chosen to be on the council of advisors for the companies that I freelance for. And she flew down when I shot my commercial. They chose me to shoot a commercial during the pandemic and all of that stuff. And we went from me not charging enough to being the best in the company, and her getting to see that happen and literally hearing calls where they were like, we've been talking about you for a year. We've been watching you quietly. Like, you were there for all these incredible moments. And so
proud of you every step of the way.
It was incredible, guys. Like, she just supported me. And again, no one that comes into your life owes you anything. They can't make you be successful. But she saw in me something that I hadn't embraced in myself, even though I was trying. I was out there trying to make it work. She saw in me things that I didn't get. So she helped me to understand my worth and made it so that I live the life that I have. The clients that I have come into my life. I work with people internationally now. When we met, I was working with just people around me, and I was really being taken advantage of. And she wouldn't allow it. And I didn't understand it. And I liked her so much. And listen, one of the things we have in common is that we are reformed people pleasers. So I liked her so much, I was like, oh, I'll just do this for free. And she was like, you absolutely will not. And so we both have definitely healed that part about ourselves. But we are similar that way. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about here is our weird similarities, even though we couldn't be from different worlds. More different worlds,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
As we grew into our friendship, and after I proposed to you to be my bestie and you accepted.
Y'all, Lisa Frank, the stuff of my Lisa Frank dreams here is what happened.
Yes, but as friends do, share stories about our childhood and our upbringing and the things that we had in common, from ketchup sandwiches to pate in poor people speak, right?
Yes.
We thought it was the most magical thing ever, and it just was remarkable how many similar experiences we had growing up. Me in Wyoming, you in the Florida Keys. Couldn't have been more different, but so incredibly similar.
So incredibly similar. The pate, I gotta tell you about that. My mom would grind up sardines and mix it with mayonnaise, and she would call it pate. It was not pate at all. I thought it was pate. We were poor. And we just had a lot of similar experiences. And also, I want to talk about the Wyoming thing. Believe it or not, her friend that I met her with that day was from Wyoming. My friend that was giving me the handoff spiritually, whether she knew it or not, was from Wyoming too. Tell me what a black girl that has West Indian background from the Keys has in common with Wyoming. But when you have soulmates, there are destinies and alignments. Why I know so many people from Wyoming, I will never know. Why some of my most favorite, important, pivotal, even if they were toxic, they were pivotal learning relationships for me are from Wyoming. And there was some ley line. I don't know if I was in Wyoming in past lives. I don't know why. But they gave me Allison, who also was from Wyoming. I think maybe for familiarity, because I was triggered and they knew I would be after healing from some toxic friendships. friendships, and they were like, see, she's like the other one, kind of, but she's not gonna kill you and eat you. So they wanted me to have some level of familiarity. So that was an interesting thing there. So some of the things that we have learned in our friendship over many years, and the Bestie proposal, I gotta speak on that because that was so. I've had just the worst track record with friendships, whether it was triangulation, whether it was due to issues of race, whether I was a black friend and there were other two white friends and the white friends didn't like me, you name it, I have had it happen. And so people would always ostracize me, and it was very easy to dismiss me and be like, well, wait, you know who doesn't need to be here? It's Mona. Even if I had been there for 20 years, giving the best love and friendship, I felt so very easily discarded. Allison had similar situations, different dynamics, maybe not race playing a factor, I wouldn't imagine.
No, but overgiving to people who never wanted to contribute the same level of energy or accountability in a friendship that I was looking for. So I always felt empty in my friendships.
Yes, and we talked about that. We were both overgivers, and here's what's so funny. Her daughter, in the beginning, her daughter is a Pisces and a guard dog in the best way, and she was like, she kind of was like sizing me up like mafioso style, like, listen, so apparently you're like my mom's new friend, but what you're not going to do is take advantage of her. And she didn't say it like that, but she was like, regarding payments and trips, because Allison and her daughter travel a lot, and now we all travel together as a family.
Amazing.
And I can say as a family.
You are
I'm trying not to cry my lashes off. In all of my friendships, I'd always sought to work myself to death to feel included as family. I've never felt more effortlessly included and loved than I do by this woman as family. I remember we went on a trip, and I came to her house once afterwards, and I was on the wall. She has her family pictures on the wall, and she didn't talk to me about it, and it wasn't weird. I was just like, I'm on the wall? And she was like, yeah, you're family. Of course you're on the wall. I was like, there I am. And it was just, there are so many things, because she was an earth angel assigned to me, so many moments of healing that she gave to me that she didn't even know she was giving. That's another thing. A lot of us, after we get out of toxic relationships, will be like, I'm hermiting, I'm not going to be around anybody, I'm never going to have friends again, or a lover, whatever your thing is. For us, it's platonic, but for like a love relationship, same, right? Who amongst us hasn't been there where it's like, that's it, I'm closing down my life forever, people hurt too much. And so I was in immense pain when, not even when Allison found me. It's funny, they were so wise the way they sent her in for me. They sent her in before I actually dismounted from that other toxic relationship, because they knew that I wouldn't trust her if they were to send her new to me as it was happening. I would have just been like, nope, I don't have any bandwidth for this. I can't do it. And so what they did was they sent her in very wisely ahead of time to kind of like get me, you know how you like buy a fish from the store and you put it in the water first to temper it? They tempered her to me. So that was really interesting. And your angels will work with you that way, where they will start to make similarities very clear to you that this person's here to heal you. And are they begging to go outside? Oh, Auntie Morena might be the frisbee thrower. So thank you, Auntie Morena. I can't wait to spend some time with you, by the way. And so the dogs have Allison trained. P.S. very, very trained. And unfortunately, we haven't. It's literally like the angels sent Miranda here. We would not get to the video because they're going to be like, Mom, it's been 25 minutes. Where's the frisbee? So what I realized is that Allison was gifted to me to help me heal. She really was. After years of me being in the trenches and giving that kind of energy to people, you know, there was something I questioned when it happened. I thought we're so similar. Would we fit? Meaning we both have the same parts. Like you think of prongs that go into the wall. We both were givers that way. We both were like a plug, right? We both plug into people. We fill them up with electricity and energy, love, kindness, and empathy. My dear friend is the sweetest empath. And she's an Aquarian too. So they were healing another part. And I want to acknowledge this for you. It's one of the things I love about her. Aquarians are humanitarians. They love all of the ethnicities and races. They're fascinated by them. They don't just love them. It's really interesting to them. How I love and relationships is how they feel about humanity, different cultures, and travel. It's a big deal. So after a lifetime of needing to heal from rejections, from people having small minds due to racism about me, too black for some white people, or too white for some black people, you know, I was always caught in this crossfire. They sent in someone who was endlessly curious about me, but wasn't tokenizing me. And for black people watching, you know exactly what I mean. I wasn't like some cute thing that she wanted to put on a shelf. She wanted to know who I was as a human. She was considerate of being an ally, of my sexuality, of my race, of my experiences. She was genuinely curious. And she also asked me questions about how she could better show up in the world. And it wasn't like in the ex relationship I had, she was so toxic and would literally tell me like, people are overreacting, or you're overreacting about all this racism stuff. Like, the vitriol I feel about that, I was not the same Monette I am today. And God bless her that she didn't get to experience me in that way. But with my bestie, it was so opposite. So they actually sent in a sign. So it got very nuanced, that wasn't just not racist, but actually was built to embrace the races. So they were like, we're going to heal this for you and send in someone who actually loves people, not just you. Because what I get to observe with her is how she treats everybody. And she does not treat them that way because I'm there, because we live long distance, so I'm not with her every day. But I hear the feedback and I see the way she shows up in people's lives. We had an experience happen just recently. We were meeting up in Asheville to have dinner with some dear friends, family friends of hers that have welcomed me in. And sitting adjacent to us, I showed up late. My plane in flight, y'all. Me and the planes and the flights. Anyway, it was delayed, so I rented my car. I pull up to the restaurant and I walk in, and they're already kind of like underway with their dinner. And sitting next to them is someone that Allison had trained, right?
Yes. Well, she was an employee. I work for a large company, guys. I'm still in corporate America. I love my job, and when I retire, I'll take more lessons from Monette. So
I'm holding you to that.
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, I'm originally from Wyoming, so there is a tremendous, wonderful African American community here in Charlotte. It's also the South, right? So everybody's experience has been different with Caucasian people like me that may be from the Black community. And this young woman, she's brilliant, she's beautiful, she's strong, she's empowered, she's motivated. And I got to walk with her. This wasn't me, she did all the work. She put in the work, she developed herself, she was promoted, she was remarkable. And then, yes, but through this progression in my workspace in Charlotte, I encountered some young women that probably have had some really horrible experiences with people like me or that looked like me. And I had to ask my bestie, how can I help these young ladies, because this is an entry-level job, how can I help them grow? How can I connect with them? How can I bring the best out of them so that they can find their own magic, their own vision, their own path? And she gave me some really great advice that helped me help this young woman that came into my life, my work life, post that experience that I had with a few young ladies that I worked with. And it was just remarkable to see her and see how far she's come, and her sweet gentleman, and it was such a lovely experience.
I want to full circle it for you. You guys are hearing the story, but here's the deal. Yes, Allison, and that's one of the things I love about Allison. She came to me humbly, and she said, Bestie, I'm out of my depth here, and I don't want to be weird, but I also want to be of service. I want to be an ally. So how do I toe this line? I've had people ask me questions. So there certainly have been people that have sought out how to be an ally in various, from, whether it's the LGBTQIA or race, how do I be an ally? How do I show up for you, even though this is not my struggle or my plight or whatever? But she did that. And so I coached her in the best way that I could. Now, here's what I love about it. My angels are so thorough, and her angels are so thorough, and our mission together is so clear that all these years later, that happened years ago, I randomly show up to this dinner. Not randomly, I'm supposed to be there, but we don't know that this lady, one of the very ladies that I helped to coach her with, I never thought I would meet her. I never could have put a face on her. She's sitting there, and before she leaves, she takes a moment and a beat, and she stands up, and she puts her hand on my bestie's shoulder, and she says, I want to thank you for empowering me. I want to thank you for letting me know that I could climb on roofs, because whatever they do, she has to go do something where she's on roofs with my nails. I love a nail. With my nails, with my skirts, that I could be this kind of adjuster, whatever she is in this world, that I can compete with the men. And this is a Black woman, and she is with her Black spouse. And I'm sure she was shocked that I was her best friend, because she's not like Allison advertises me to that degree. Everybody knows she's a bestie, but they don't know, what I look like. And she wasn't saying it on my behalf. She was saying it because it was her authentic expression of gratitude, because she now was having success in her career because someone that looks like Allison didn't hinder her She helped her, and she actually guided her and empowered her. And Allison doesn't work directly with her, but she gave her the best energy and advice. And it was such a full circle moment where I got to see how good my bestie shows up in other people's lives, and not just for me. I always feel grateful. It never, ever escapes me. But it was like my angels were like, look at the full circle, because my bestie deserves flowers every day. And she literally loved on somebody that looks like me, that has had struggles with racist coworkers like me, and instead of being a struggle, she was a step up, and she exhibited incredible empathy and kindness and didn't tokenize her. She was like, you as a woman, here's how she related to her struggle, because she's a woman in this industry too. She was like, don't let them tell you can't be cute and climb on those roofs and get your work done. And the fact that the woman of her own volition said it, I could not have been more proud, because she had no idea she'd ever meet me. I had no idea I'd ever meet her, but the angels orchestrated. I wasn't even supposed to come to that dinner. I was trying to avoid it. I'd actually called one of the family friends that said, I'm going to come to the house. She wasn't feeling well. I said, I'll just come and hang out with you. And she was like, no, there's really nothing to eat. I said, is there any fast food around here? I'll pick up something for you. She said, no, actually the restaurant's 5 minutes away. Your best bet's going there. I literally was not trying to go to the dinner. Actually told Allison I wasn't coming. She was like, I'll pick you up from the airport. You want me to come get you? What do you need? I was like, nope, I'll figure it out myself. I rented a vehicle, and I literally wasn't supposed to have that happen, but the angel said, oh, you have an appointment at this restaurant. You are supposed to be there. So it was for that reason specifically. While they had delicious pommes frites, it was for that. And what did you order me? Scallops or something magical?
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember.
It was delicious.
It was scallops, yes.
Here's the thing, another thing, me and my bestie have like very similar tastes, and everything is so amazing eating out with her. But in any case, that was a beautiful moment. I just want to give you your flowers for that, because she took what I said, and beyond just taking my advice, she made an impact in someone's life and gave someone a good experience where I've had so many bad, and I was so proud of you for that. So
I'm so grateful for the experience, because there's nothing I love more than people.
It's the truth, and I watch her have that. So the bestie proposal, let's talk about that real quick. God will restore the years of the locust of Eden. I've had people think that my brand of friendship was too sickeningly sweet, or too over the top, or too codependent, or too people pleasing. And to some degrees, they may have been right. I had a lot of work and growth to do. I didn't ask Allison to do that for me. She didn't know that that was a secret desire that I always wanted someone. It's not so much to propose to me, but to definitely want to choose me. Because being chosen has been something that has been very easy for people not to do in my life. So the choosing was what was the real important thing. And the angel said, we'll get the vehicle to you some way. So she literally sent me the most beautiful note. And I was like doing like real low carb at the time. It was Valentine's Day, and she sent me like a bunch of keto like meat steaks. Like, what better proposal could there be? And like an incredible bottle of gin, and it was like something out of my Lisa Frank. You all remember Lisa Frank and the posters and the stickers, and you're like 9 years old. I was a kid again, and I had a friend who wanted to be friends with me really deeply, and actually chose me without being influenced by what anybody in her friends and family thought. And not that there was any issue there, thank God, but I wasn't used to that. So it was a grand gesture that I got. Now, you may need a different grand gesture. You may not need what I got. But after the trauma that I've had of absolute repeated rejections, I needed that. I needed that more than I even knew. And guess who knew more than I did? The angels that talked to Allison. She used to tell me all the time, your angels are tattling on you. And they were. They would talk to her all the time, because in the beginning of us getting closer and closer, I was closed off and hurt. And I remember one point being like, I don't think I have anything to give, because I was so hurt by the way that I was treated. And she's like, I'm not going anywhere. So I don't know. If you think you're breaking up with me, I'm not going anywhere. She was so assigned to me. She saw the mission through. And I was like, no, I just felt guilty, because I'm used to loving people in this huge, big way. And when she met me, God, I was very diminished. Not met me, but like what you like no, when it happened during the friendship.
Had not come into your power, but I guess before that, we had two and a half years of, I'm going to call it courting, bestie courting.
Bestie courting, that's really appropriate.
Right?
Yes.
We didn't sit down for tea one day and spill all of our family secrets. Or it was little by little, and can I trust you enough to share intimate parts of myself? We were vetting each other.
We were vetting. I talk about that all the time. We were vetting.
We were vetting each other to understand reliability, trustworthiness, compatibility, connection, all of those things. I mean, we
Very
even
much.
went to Paris before we had a bestie show.
We did. We
did.
traveled.
And I
before.
watched you in Paris.
Sure did. Absolutely did. And wrote me the sweetest note that I still have to this day. When she lost me and was like, I'm going to get doner kebab. I hope that I don't have to go to the American consulate to recover you. Like, I hope you're alive in Paris. My angels are always teaching me about self-sufficiency and travel abroad. So that was one of my first lessons about self-sufficiency. I found my way back from the scene to our hotel. It took a lot of hours and lovely conversation with a homeless man who offered me wine from his bottle, who had no shoes, and I made it back. So, and me not speaking much French. So I was very proud of myself. It was a Girl Scout moment. I earned a badge that day.
Never leaving you again, ever, 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 ever.
It has caused a little bit of PTSD with her. I'm like, it's okay. We go to a country and we're not connected at the hip. And she's like, I don't know that. And I'm connected to your hip. She's meant it. She's never left me. So in any case, that was a really fun experience. But Bestie courtship,
Yes.
That's beautiful. And that's another video. I might just do a separate video when I'm home about what that looks like, because, we have a lot going on today. So I want to hit some of the talking points, but that is really a really great point. We courted just like you would with someone you're dating. We talked to each other. We sent notes and gifts and cards. We visited with each other. But we didn't sit down. It wasn't just because we recognized each other the first day we met doesn't mean that it was a spill sesh. It wasn't. It took years of trust and building and knowing. And listen, I've watched other people in toxic relationships feel like the limerence of, we call it like Women Crush Wednesday. Like, it's not anything sexual. It's very much like, oh my God, you're just my favorite person. You know how it is when you have a new friend and you're just obsessed with them. But see, you need to spend time. I've watched a lot of people ruin their lives thinking that limerence and infatuation is a real friendship. It is not. And neither I or she took that for granted. Maybe because of our life experiences, being pretty battered and bruised in both of our ways and not having trustworthy connections in our life. But for some reason, we did this one right. I'm so proud of us.
Me too.
We really took time. So when the Bestie proposal came, I was like, yes, a million yeses. And it was kind of a funny thing because we had a thing between us where we would say, thank you for saying yes.
Yes.
Allison would always say, she's like, I'm always going to say yes. I'm always going to see how I can support you. I'm always going to believe in your dreams. Like, she was saying these beautiful things to me that made me feel so seen that no one had ever said. They might have said it, but they didn't do it. When push came to shove, they were like, oh, I was believing in your what? I didn't mean that. I was drunk. You know what I mean? So it was really weird to have someone, and then refreshing and welcome to have someone not just court me, but then propose and mean it. Because she was like, I promise to be in your life. I'm your family. I'm here. It means that the spouse that you have, she married me to my husband, okay? She was my officiant at my wedding. And that was before Bestie proposals. So we were still in our courtship of emotions, but I knew she was special. And it was so weird because my angels were like, yeah, this is the person that's supposed to wed you to your husband. And even when he's needed a swift kick in the butt, and he has sometimes, she's been the one to do it.
And you check my husband and kick him a good swift kick in the butt too.
We do it. We do it with finesse. Now, one of the things I love about my bestie is we both traffic in Hawaii energy. She's beautiful. She's literally actually gorgeous. But she's a homemaker in a way. And even though I'm a chef and I cook and all that stuff, and y'all know I haven't done much of that since the pandemic and I got sick, this woman is the consummate hostess. And I love it because it's one of the way that I feel a love language from my mother. She was very acts of service and very much like the doily on the tray and just lovely things like that. So she wouldn't give you a hug, but she would make you a beautiful tray. Now, my beautiful bestie gives hugs too. So it's a full package there. But she is so lovely at her care and the way that she shows up. What was I saying? I got distracted.
We were talking about vetting, and we were talking about, oh my gosh.
Service,
active service.
acts of service, loving, kindnesses.
Shit.
It'll come back. All right. No. Hawaii energy.
Hawaii energy, yes.
Hawaii energy. So she's beautiful. So like we're both, lashes are both, it's coiffed hair. We both wear dresses more often than not. Our uniform is the same. What I love about her too is like, you think that life goes by you and you're like, I'm not going to get a bestie that matches me in every way. Like, I'm not a teenager. I'm not 20 anymore. My bestie is my same height. Okay. She is slender, but she is my same height. We're the same shoe size. Okay.
Size 11 girls can't find them.
Don't hate on the size 11 girlies. It's us. So size 11. So she buys me the most beautiful shoes. Like other women have tried, other friends have tried, other lovers have tried. No one has succeeded. This is the best shoe game ever in the land from this woman. And so there's so many things that I thought I would not get because I was older. I was like, well, forget about that. That's why I say out of my Lisa Frank dreams, I got someone who came in and my angels were like, we see what you've been through and we see what she's been through, and we have aligned you. You have someone that's your height, that you could dress shop with, that likes the same kind of taste in you, and she traffics in Hawaii energy, so she's beautiful. Like when we go out together, people always are complimenting both of us, and it makes me delighted. She is striking. And so that was something that was important to me. It's a little petty thing, but that's why I'm saying don't think that your dreams of whatever you want a friend can't be fulfilled, because even the superficial dream was fulfilled. It's like my bestie's like a Barbie. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she's loving in a way that I relate to. She loves people the way that I do. She cares for people. I feel very cared for and nurtured. And she also has a voice too. Like when we were in Paris, there was something going on with her flight, and she was like on the phone tapping into like, absolutely not, this is going to get fixed. And she's taught me a lot of that. I learned a lot from her. She's an Aquarian, so things are very cerebral. And it's funny sometimes because I'll be like, so these are emotions, Bestie.
These are feelings. You have to take them out of your purse sometimes and look at them.
Because I'm all about my feelings, and my bestie is like, that's fascinating. But not with me. It's so funny because I can't relate to her being that way, because with me, I get the juiciest, loveliest energy. But sometimes I'm like, oh, you are an Aquarius. I see. And she's also taught me that that's necessary. And so sometimes I'm in my Aquarian bag and I'm like, no, we're not playing these games. And she's like, I'm very proud of you. So that's what happens. You learn from each other. And so what would you say is one of the things beyond the bestie proposal and the courtship, which I think that's a great point, the courtship, but that makes a relationship stay intact though? So we got past the courtship, we got past the proposal.
Yes, so, well, let's take it back even a little further. For those of you that are looking for a bestieship or a kinship, understand where you're at in your life. And what I mean by that, I think of somebody that might be in their early 20s, mid-20s, 30s, where you're more interested in coupling or maybe having children, or just think very clearly about what it is that you're looking for and what level of interaction that you need from your bestie. Is it a once a month touch base? Is it we need to have breakfast or brunch every Saturday? What is it that you need? And what, I guess from my own personal experience, we are both married ladies. We've had long-term relationships with our spouses. There are so many things in my marriage that I wished my husband would do, because hashtag he's a boy, right? But all of those needs that I have, including the 24 beautiful roses that my bestie sent me, because my husband doesn't believe in flowers because they're already dead. She fills all of my needs emotionally, that maybe as much as I love my husband, maybe sometimes he just doesn't get it because he's a boy. Same with your husband, right? He's not going to buy you perfume, but your bestie's going to send you 75 different flavors of whatever. Every
year, the most gorgeous, ridiculously large bottle of perfume, several times a year, either shows up or we're together and she's like, surprise! And I'm so grateful. That's such a beautiful point. At whatever place you are in your life, you will need something different. A 20-year-old bestieship will feel different. I am in my 40s. My bestie's in her late 40s. And so it is...
God bless you, I'm 50. Kids, 50.
Whatever. And so, we also tried on a few shoes of bestieships and found them to be lacking, where people weren't putting in the work we were and weren't willing to do the things we were for each other. And we've done it for everybody else. And finally, God matched us with each other, where it's like, I'm happily willing to do it for you. Even if I'm frustrated, even if I feel away, meaning in my own life, I had a lot going on. And I've been really sick. And when I tell you this woman, she's at a phase in her life where there is a comfortableness in her marriage. There's a comfortableness in my marriage. She's shown up for me. She's flown down for my surgeries. My pharmacist knows her. People at the hospital cry about the loving. I'm not just saying this, guys. I know it seems like I'm a larger than life kind of personality. It may seem like I'm like talking this up. I'm not exaggerating. This woman has an incredible effect, just the way she loves me, that I can't overlook. Meaning, like, nurses and doctors are like, you were down here for the last surgery. Like, I've never had a friend do that for me. My pharmacist, like, talked to me for 10 minutes the last time I went in there, and was like, one of the ladies that was in there a couple times before, she was like, your friend was so sweet that came in to pick up your medicine, because she's always on this last minute. We're always fighting about which meds I can get, and she's trying to get my vitamins in me, and God bless her, she's running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And if she's not able to come, she's sending me sushi and chicken and pizza and whatever I need after surgery. I've never had someone love me this way. I've always loved people this way. She's always loved people this way. I will reciprocate this forever and ever. Visitation for her was something that mattered, meaning a friend that would take the time to come and see her. That was not something that she was getting in her previous relationships. And so to me, I was like done and done. I go in just like I would with any psychic work. I assess it. I was like, I'll be there whenever I can be. I will be there on a trail, a plane. I'll drive. I'll come with my husband. I'll come with my friends. Whatever, if you'll have me. And she has. I felt welcomed very much. And I will tell you this matters because both of us had an interesting parallel where, and I'm going to get back to the place in your life you're at, but we had an interesting parallel where friends that we loved dearly and put a lot of time into wouldn't allow us into their house after, literally, after we traveled at least 8 hours for both of us to see them separately. This was just separate friendships that we had. The friends that passed us off to each other, ironically, and I would drive to Alabama, and that girl would not allow me into her house. It happened several times. One time, I was on the phone with you. Remember, I killed time at Trader Joe's, and she was just like, I can't believe this, and I was still in denial. Here's what I love about Allison. She never talked crap. She never was catty. The only thing she said to me towards the end of my denial and waking up was, it shouldn't be this hard to love somebody, because she was watching me just crash myself into the rejection rocks of that relationship where she was choosing someone else racist and low vibrational over me, and it just broke my soul open. And I remember 2 years before I dismounted being on the phone with my bestie at Trader Joe's being like, oh, she knew I was coming, and like literally like having this conversation, and she's not giving me any I told you so's or come on dummy or come to my house or none of that. She just held space for me and let me figure it out on my own, because a good friend will do that. They'll definitely reflect some things back to you, but she let me figure it out and dismount when I was ready to. She wasn't influencing it. She wasn't catty. My other friend had other people in her ear, and she was allowing that. This woman was so integral, she didn't even do it. No gossip, no nothing. The friendship that ended on my account because of my hurt feelings and because of being neglected for as long as I was. But she also had the same exact experience as me of not being allowed into someone's house after she'd driven and told them. It wasn't like we're like stalkers and just showed up like, surprise, we're here. We literally made plans.
Drove from North Carolina to Florida.
Yeah, repeatedly.
Yes.
And would be shunned and turned away at the door. And so when people look into the relationship, they're like, well, how did you get it? It seems so perfect. We both have been ignored and treated like crap, honestly, and badly. And we would never do that to each other. I had been sick as a dog where I couldn't host her. In the last couple of years, she has seen me, thank God. She got to see me be able to cook and host her and do all the things I do. But I've been so sick that it's just not been a reality. Sometimes I've been in hospitals when she's seen me for weeks at a time. She came and visited me when I was in rehab and watched me learn how to walk again.
Well, Bestie, and you also with that same god-awful experience and still not healed, trekked your little hiney all the way up to North Carolina to spend the holidays with me and my daughter and my granddaughter and my son-in-law, and we had a beautiful time, and you were in so much pain. I'm so grateful that you made that journey.
I'm not even gonna lie. She's not lying. I was in the worst pain of my life, and I couldn't even sit up. My husband drove, and I laid in the back of my SUV, and I was embarrassed because I wouldn't want her to see me in pain in the morning. The pain was crazy. I'm in a much different space now, but the pain was crazy. And I remember one time she kind of came out because she is so empathetically in alignment with me, and I was an ogre, and I was like yelling at my husband because I needed my meds. She was around the corner. I didn't see her. She saw me in that way, and she still loved me anyway. I saw a meme that I'll post on the community page. I took a screenshot. I didn't know why, but I guess my angels knew that that we were talking about somebody and it came up. My angels knew I would need it. It said, the friends are people that know everything about you and still like you anyway. Well, she saw the ugly side of me, meaning the non-makeup because I just was in too much pain to do it side, the I'm in pain so I was a pain in the ass side. But I did it because it matters to me to spend time with your friends and your connections. You travel for your best, you love them, and by God, you open the door when they show up to your house and you treat them with love. I couldn't believe that we had that same experience of rejection.
It just goes along with the 18,000 other same experiences we've had from small people to large people. So how do you keep it together?
How do you keep it together?
So that's a great question. Here we are 8 or 9 years later.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand and probably 2 fingers where we've ever had a miscommunication.
Yes.
Not even a disagreement, miscommunication
Yes.
is what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
And we addressed it immediately.
Yes.
We said real words.
Yep.
We did it in writing. We did it over voice. The last one certainly was my faux pas legacy. If you're listening, Fox Pass, just so you know. And I literally could not sleep that night because I was so upset that I hurt your feelings, and I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated that I hurt your feelings, and I wanted nothing more in the world than to fix it. And I'm so grateful we had such a wonderful conversation, because we don't always get glimpses into people's lives, why they may feel the way they do, or why a boundary is in place. Because it's there usually for a protective reason, right? So I guess my advice to all of you seeking a bestieship, have a bestieship, value your friend, know that they're human, know that they're vulnerable, they have ouchy spots, and just accept and understand who they are, and have good open communication instantly when it happens. Don't let it fester.
No.
Don't let it go.
Mm-mm.
I'm not leaving you. You're not leaving me. When I tell you this woman would bury the bodies with me, I'm
Absolutely.
telling you, I swear to God, because we've been in a situation like that, you're not going to literally buried bodies, but
Nobody's.
no, but you know, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but I cut a bitch for her. So
Listen, that's when she won my heart. She was like, listen, you need me to make a pipe bomb? When I was going through the first dismount of the relationship, and she let me come to it on my own. And I'm going to circle back to what she said, because what she said there was so powerful about keeping it together. But when she did that, she was like, listen, you need me to make you a pipe bomb, and here's this prim and proper, well-coiffed, absolutely lovely lady. Like, lady. She, my bestie, literally 18th century, past lives there, lady. And when she said she'd make a pipe bomb for me if I needed it, we were sitting on the beach and doing a spiritual burial of that relationship, which she had suggested so wisely so that I could start to put some closure to it. And I was kind of recounting things, and I was sad. And she was like, I can, Mazel Tov cocktails. Got them. Do them. Got them. Make them. They'll be cute. You need them one? I was like, oh my God, I'm keeping you. I like you. I like you. I like you so much. So that was so sweet. Now, how to keep it. Talking about it when the ouchie's ouchie. Because listen, we are human. We have past triggers. We have real things. Allison loves me immensely. One of the other things, too, is my love tank is so filled up with Allison that even if there is an ouchie and it's been maybe 1.5, like she said, times in our whole friendship, and one was my first faux pas, okay? The first one was my faux pas, and the way this woman loved me through the faux and the pas and the Fox Pass legacy, I cannot tell you. It was the most powerful display of friendship I've ever had. And it was at that moment, Morgan Freeman voiceover, it was at this moment Mona knew she was absolutely with the right friend for the first time in my life. Because I was out of pocket and out of line. But the way she loved me was like, hey girl, guess what? This doesn't change anything. Guess who I still love? You. Guess where I'm going? Nowhere. I've never had someone love me in spite of my weirdness or miscommunications or misreadings or whatever. And she loved me so strongly. She's like, guess what I'm not going to do tomorrow? Treat you differently. Guess what I am going to do? Go, I think we were car shopping. She'd flown down to take me to buy a vehicle for myself because my bestie's like a car aficionado. She's so fucking cool at so many things, guys, that I can't even tell you. This woman who's in a dress would be could change stuff in your car and do shit that I could never in my life. So I'm so happy. She, I literally call her before my husband. I'm not exaggerating. When something's going on, I'm like, so, da-da-da-da, and she's like, oh, you need this part, da-da-da-da, you can order, you can don't go to the shop, but go here. It's amazing. So grateful for you. But she loved me through that. But we dealt with it immediately. She was like, here's where the misunderstanding is. Here's how I feel. Here's what I think. How do you feel? What do you think? Guess what changes? Absolutely nothing. And she wasn't. And I had come from a history, from the cult, from other things you guys have heard me talk about, from the covert narcissists, from the abusive situations, from the triangulations, from the racism, where people did treat me differently and did behave. And she was not passive aggressive with me. And she could have been. She could have been. She could have been anyway. And she was like, no. We literally went and bought my favorite truck that I'm still in to this day, literally the next morning after that first faux pas on my part. The second time, when I was like, hey, my feelings are hurt here, here's how, here's why. The way that she loved me through that, and here's the thing, if you love someone you can't let something fester. So when people are silent treating you and stuff like that, they're not invested as you may think. I'm not going to say they don't love you because I can't speak for everyone's situation. We all have different ways that we were taught to react, and one of the things that we talk about often is the organism does what's always made it successful. But I was used to silent treatments and stuff, and I thought, okay, if I tell her that I have an ouchie here, that I'm triggered, this might mean she disappears. I'm very fatalistic that way because that's what my life has shown me, is that people go away when I'm honest about getting my needs met. And I talked to her, and she held so much space for me and was like, girl, not only am I going to figure this out, we'll talk about it so we both feel safe about it and good, but not only am I not going anywhere, but I'm so grateful you told me, so now I know how to love you here, or I realize what happened, or whatever. She took accountability, she countered me and gave me good conversation and things to think about, but she didn't try to gaslight me out of what I felt was my situation. She used real grown-up, grown-ass words, which I just love, and really spoke to my soul and said, I see you, and I'm sorry that I caused you pain. I've never had a friend be that invested in the fact that it caused me pain, and it wasn't even big. Y'all, this pain was nothing compared to the pains I've had. So the fact that she cared even about something that was so minuscule, and it was as a result of past triggering, really. And she handled me well. You know, my Bestie is like the best parent and dog mama ever. And when I came to her, I was gifted to her as we were beginning our Bestie courtship, I always said that In the Arms of the Angel from Sarah McLachlan was playing, I was a wounded animal. And I feel like they sent her to me specifically because she knows how to rehab wounded animals, and I was very wounded. So there would be triggers that would pop up, I knew, and I couldn't predict how I would feel so much about something until it happened. And she handled me brilliantly. Like those vets that we watch on TikTok that like go sit down next to the puppy and let it come to them, even though they're terrified. I was terrified of human behavior and rejection and all of that, and she just loved me. So that's how you make it work, is you deal with it in the moment, but you have to have someone who's willing to do that with you.
Absolutely, that's the other key piece. You have to have somebody that's willing to put in the work, because even in your marriages, your partnerships, your life partnerships, you have to have somebody that's willing to work for you.
Yeah.
And with you. And this may seem like a bananas theory, but when you find your bestie, because I believe people are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, this one is definitely a lifetime for me. And she is as important as the relationship with my daughter, with my husband, with any important, critical relationship in your life. You should protect that and be as passionate and caring with it as any other important relationship in your life, whatever that looks like, is if it's a siblingship or friendship, whatever that connection looks like, and never take that person for granted,
Ever. It's easy to think that someone loving you, checking in on you daily is just normal. It's not. That costs them energy. And so I feed into my bestie as best I can. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't know how sick I would get. And I was sick. And there were months and years, 2 years that we went through this, where she'd call and she'd check on me. And yes, of course, I'd ask her about her day, what's going on, how's husband, how's daughter, how are pepperoonies, all of that, yeah? But she was listening to me bitch a lot and talk about what was happening with my meds or my doctor or what surgery unexpectedly I was going to have next, emergency or otherwise. And she was there through all of them. She was on the phone with other friends, triaging things, figuring things out when I wasn't getting proper care. I've never been loved more thoroughly. I have a lovely group of people that care about me, for sure, absolutely. But this one was boots on the ground. And the reason I say this to you is because I poured into her in ways, not realizing how much I need to pull out. You never factor that in when you go into any relationship with your spouse, your lover, whoever. You just think, oh, we love each other, everything's good. I could not have predicted. What happened to me were freaky accident things, according to the doctors, things they'd never seen, things that had no rhyme or reason. So I was dealing with something, and that's why in my good season, I'm grateful I loved her the way she loved me. She loved me so beautifully that if there was ever a season for her, my bestie is a cancer survivor, but I didn't know her then.
Season of need too, honey.
Well, not the way that she's been there for me to me. I don't know, but she was that happened before me. But I'm like, I would be there. I'd be making the smoothies. I'd be flying in the specials. I'd do whatever I could do within my will and my means. But what I want to say to you is love the people in your life completely, because you never know when you're going to need to extract a great deal of energy. To love me the way she has costed her something, but I have invested and she's invested into me. So whenever it needs to be extracted or withdrawn from, we both have it in our bank accounts emotionally for each other. Now, message spouses could take a note from this, right? How many of us have been in relationships where you're not getting that, and then sometimes you have to invest and you're like, well, I don't have anything because you haven't been depositing. So that's a message for y'all to love your partners too, not just your friends, right? At this stage in our life, for us, friendship is base touching on a regular basis. We both have a similar love style about being with each other. It's not codependent, it's healthy. How are you doing? Whatever. One of the other things I love about my bestie is she loves me completely, not just because of the skin that I'm in or the size that I am. There's never been anything but her wanting the best for me. If I'm losing weight, she's the first one to be like, girl, skinny mini. And if I'm gaining weight, she's like, girl, we're going to tackle this mountain. We're going to get there someday. She believes in me. She'll send me beautiful gifts. She keeps me on track. If you need a case of smoothies, you need a magical scale, whatever you need, girl, whatever journey I'm on, she's there supporting me. But the thing that I find really, powerful about that is that's what you have to give back to. It has to be what I invest into her as well. And if you're not investing like that into people, you can't extract that. You can't expect to extract that. Does that make sense? You have to kind of give that level of energy. The point I was going to make is she's an ally. Okay, so y'all know I'm LGBTQIA. I'm the B in all of that. So she's seen me in all of my moments. She's seen me with moments and crushes and all the things. She knows who I am. She knows who I am in my marriage. She knows who I am, and she doesn't judge me. She's not using it against me to court of law. I am very honest about who I am, but I love how she supported me. I love how she has honored me, and she's been like, whatever you need, whatever is going to make you happy. Now, she's still a bestie, so she does have the raised eyebrow and a side eye if there's a shenanigan afoot, as any good bestie in our Geneva Convention of besties should, right? We don't let our besties drift off in any area, whether it's a business area, a lover area, into fuckery. Y'all know how I feel about that. You have to be very conscientious about having each other's back. That's why they send you a bestie. And one of the things that I learned in this relationship that wasn't present, I watched someone disastrously handle the gift that I was to them, meaning I have great discernment, so does my bestie. And so instead of coming to me, they shut me out and shut down. And then it's not to say that they weren't an adult that can make their own decisions, but life went awry. When I've had similar situations in business, in love, in anything, my bestie is my go-to. It doesn't mean she makes my decisions for me. It doesn't mean that she's codependently overriding what I think, but she is a sounding board? For sure. And I can be like, here's how I'm feeling today. Husband's on his last string with me. I think I'm going to Calgon myself away. And she's like, okay, that seems reasonable, or that's not reasonable. But there's real words and feedback. It's not just yes man stuff. She's like, it depends, right? And she's allowed me the same, to weigh in areas of her life where other people would shut out and shut down and get snippy or snipey. She knows that my heart for her is just wanting the best thing. And I feel so supported because I feel seen. I don't have to hide any parts of myself. She knows exactly who I am, and she has kept me safe. So if I'm in, let's say there's a new adventure and I'm like, I want to go this way. This business is what I'm investing. I'm putting all my chips in. She'll be like, okay, bestie. And she's not like a doomsdayer, like, well, I'll be here when it all breaks apart. She's like, I really want this to work for you. I feel that from her. I feel genuine happiness. Another thing, too, that both of us experienced was not being able to share our wins.
Absolutely.
My bestie is incredibly successful in her career. She is top-notch, incredibly successful, well thought of, just recently received actual verbal accolades and emails and all of the love and respect she should get. She is not just respected, liked. And I love that because I've been around some very disagreeable characters. And so I love the way that she's loved in her corporate setting. I also love that she's comfortable in her skin. While she has psychic giftings, she's never trying to be me, and her giftings are very different than me. How many of us have had body snatchers? That's not my bestie. She's very comfortable in her skin. Well, what I will say here is this. She is killing it. And when she kills it, and with every success, and with every new bonus or raise, we get to share that, and I'm genuinely happy for her. And I get pissed if it's not going the way I think it should for her, like angry. I'm the first line of defense of like, they're trying it, Bestie, and we'll pull out some cards and we'll do a reading. Another thing, I want to talk about readings and respect, but she does the same for me. Do you have to use the restroom? Are you good? I will wrap it up here shortly. She does the same for me. I've never been scared to say, Bestie, oh my God, they just picked me to do this commercial, or Bestie, I just won this thing, or Bestie, whatever my thing is that's been magic, she's like,
Couldn't be happier for you.
she means it. She's not just saying that, guys. I feel it. I have hidden successes from other people because I could tell they were jealous, frustrated, or they were like, well, what makes that? When my pay grade started to increase and my tax bracket changed, she was like, girl, don't get caught by the IRS. That's the only trinket of knowledge she had for me. She was like, make sure those taxes are right. And I love her for that. But beyond that, she was like, I'm delighted for you to be finally paid your worth. I'm delighted that people see you. Because let's go back. Remember, this is going to be a 2-part video. So the first part I was talking about her saying, we don't work for free. The red color, I didn't even like to wear red. That is a direct correlation to my bestie. It's not that she wears so much red. She trafficked in red energy, and it literally changed my life. And now I like red so much. And that is a direct correlation to her. It's a weird connection, but it makes so much sense to me. But she was happy for my successes. There were other people that were jealous, people that would end friendships with me just because they saw me growing in something they saw me work and put my blood, sweat, and tears into. So if you have a bestie that's with you, you have to check your soul. Sometimes they will shoot past you in a certain career thing, and you may think, this is not fair, but what I want you to do instead of that, because it's okay to be human, but be like, oh my gosh, if it's coming for them, it's coming for me, because we're connected. We have shared energy. So when she would succeed, she was succeeding in her career and getting stuff happening, and I was still kind of not there yet, and I hadn't started my own business and all of that stuff. And she, not in this, I had one in catering, but not in this. And she was so happy for me with every win, but I was genuinely happy for her. When she called me, and would talk to me about some of the things, you have to be happy for the people in your life, because if you were assigned to each other, you both have a similar trajectory. So you guys will have wins in the same way, and you will have similar experiences, and in so many ways. So you can't, jealousy is natural, but I gotta say, it's the first one I've never had jealousy with, and I've never felt jealousy from her. And even if there were that to be that, because we are all human, I know that we would talk about it, and that would be a thing. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Besties, jealousies, no, career, happiness. What were we talking about?
We've talked about so much.
I know. I feel like that. I feel like if we left anything out, I don't know, guys. You definitely can ask questions beneath. Keeping it going is about communication. Vet properly. Courtship with someone that's new in your life. They don't get automatic entry.
We were talking about readings and
Respect. That's it. And yeah. This woman, aside from being like, you get paid what you deserve, she never, to this day on God's earth, when my prices increased, as I knew that they should, accordingly to what I was paid. Because on the sites I freelance for, people were paying, and I'm not exaggerating, $20 a minute? Minimum to talk to me. Okay, so my prices to work with me directly are far less. But I felt like it was fair. What I charge, I feel like is very fair, and is accordance to any therapist you would go to or whatever, because kind of that's what I'm doing here. No, I'm not a therapist, guys, officially, but I've had a lot of people say that to me, even therapists that I work with. So she needs reading sometimes, and her family, and I definitely have friends and family discounts for those who respect it. If they don't, y'all know how I do. We don't do any disrespect, but she pays me. And she pays me. She pays me every reading. Now, here's the thing about being friends with anybody psychic. They're going to tell you when they feel like something's coming in your life. So we have tons of conversations where I'm just like, we're just chatting. But if she's like, Bestie, I have a work thing coming up, or I have a life thing coming up, I need to take a look at it. The Venmo's in my account before we've ever picked up the phone to do the reading, which is really interesting because I usually collect payment after my readings. But she pays me beforehand. Like clockwork, without hesitation. She's never, ever, ever wavered there. Can you tell me what your energy on that is?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, little plug for you. I will tell you that she is the real deal. She is better than probably, if you have a mess in your life and you need some guidance, call her. For the love of God, call her. She will help you through it. I cannot tell you, I refer people to you that I know that need help because you are precise. You're going to get in there like a surgeon. You're going to find it. You're going to cut it out and help them get rid of it. It's not going to cost years of therapy. it's
That's
going to
true.
be done. So I am a firm believer, and I know you've already said this, I don't work for free and neither do you, but I will never take advantage of your gifts. So that's why I pay you your rate. No friends, no family. It's not going to happen. I'll keep throwing more money at you. I swear to God, we have money fights all the time.
All the
It's
time.
more about, I'm paying for this. No, you're not paying for this. I'm paying for this. And we end up in Venmo wars. It's crazy.
All the time. It's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous, but I also love her and I'm grateful. And I find ways to love on her in other ways that she can't repay me back for because
Remarkable
it's
ways.
against the Bestie Geneva Convention. But listen, one thing she doesn't do is take advantage of me. She doesn't think anything about paying me, and she doesn't disrespect me, and she doesn't expect anything. She also is so beautifully conscientious of my energy because I give a lot of energy. You guys just see me on here pop in and out. I'm working, and my bestie can attest to it, a lot more.
All hours of the day.
All the
and
time. I work all the time. And I love my life. I love that I've cultivated that I could be here doing it or there or in an airport or in a hospital because I've worked from all of those places, and some of you guys know that. But with her, she's like, how are you feeling? I've never had a friend really check in. It's not just how are you feeling for a reading. She'll ask me that too. She's like, hey, is your energy up for this today, or do you want to reschedule it because I'm good? And I'm like, well, just like I prioritize a client, I'm going to prioritize you too. My God, you're a paying client to that degree. But she checks in on me. Check in on your bestie. How are you? She reads my energy. She intuits and does. It's it makes for you to have zero reason to lie because I couldn't if I wanted to. Because if I said
tattle on you immediately.
every time. That's one thing. If you want this level of depth of friendship, being telekinetic with each other is a real thing. Like, we really, truly read each other's mind, know what we like. We both love the same kind of food. Like, we both love seafood, so like, we're going out for sushi here shortly. I'm delighted. So we just have so many similarities, but that was a gift given to both of us after being in the trenches with people that didn't value us. Maybe they loved us to a certain point, and maybe they had some good moments, to be fair. But in the long run, they weren't willing to do this. The conversations that we've had in our 1.5 faux pas are worth their weight in gold to me, because that's how you can tell if you have a real connection with somebody in your marriage or in your bestieship or in any relationship dynamic. Are they going to get in the trenches with you, do the work, and then still treat you like with love and respect in spite of that or after it? And this relationship is so valuable to me, and I protect it. That's why, specifically, whether she was cool being on camera or not, I would still feel away. I wouldn't care if she wanted to be here, she could be, but I want her so protected because she's so precious to me, because it took me all of my life. You know that song, Where Have You Been All My Life? It took me all my life to find someone who's treating me this well. And again, no instantaneous, immediate anything. And that's one of the things that I could leave you with here today. Nothing happens overnight. We recognize each other immediately. I'll never forget it, and I'll never not say it. But it was built, just like any relationship, on real tenets, real connection, and real interaction. And yeah, a little bit of infatuation in the beginning for sure. But now it's built on grounded balance. I think of the Four of Wands. It's very balanced. It's like, the four stilts that you would need to build a house, like it's grounded. We know each other. It's rooted. We know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've had the uncomfortable conversations when need be, but we have each other's back ferociously. And one of the things that I will leave you with is choose the person that has been assigned to you. She chooses me, I choose her. And she doesn't choose me because I've chosen her, and I don't choose her because she's chosen me. We chose each other equally, which is just miraculous. I don't take it for granted ever, not a single day. And we never waver from that. And so that means that it's protected. It means that if my husband felt away, like my husband adores her, like the win of the wins of the wins, best bestie ever. But the other friend, he felt away about, he wasn't wrong. There were some flags and he was right. But I didn't cut that friend out of my life. That's the kind of friend I am. I was like, I'm not choosing my man over a friend. Not so many would do that. Some of you guys have had that experience. But you do want to listen to the wisdom and counsel of the people that know you. But this bestie is insulated and protected. She would have to literally shoot me, and then even then I'd be like, the gun must have gone on by accident. So I would be like, something must have happened, Jesus, because that's just not in her nature. And I can't say that for other people. So what I'm saying is, protect ferociously the gift of the friend that you do have. I'm going to put up a video that she sent me recently of Dr. Pimple Popper and her friend, her SD bestie, because then you can watch a video with two besties on camera and see the chemistry, because that's what struck me when she sent me the video. She's like, it's us, and I was like, it is us. Right down to the story of our eyes met across the room. You're my person. You've loved me. You've supported me. You've helped me grow. You've been in the trenches. You've cut a bitch for me when I need it. All of that. That's what you're looking for. There is no blueprint. It doesn't have to be exact, but we've given you some of the tenets of what you need to fact check with the person that you're in connection with. Will they fight for you? Do they respect you? Do they welcome you? Being welcomed is a thing. I feel welcomed with this woman. Do you feel like family? Do they love you enough to prioritize you? She just said something so powerful to me. Your relationship to me is as important. Now, I still put myself in a hierarchy. It's definitely the child before everything, husband, and then me. Yes, we love legacy. We don't kill anyway. We love you, but I know that she loves me, and I know that if anybody were to challenge that, it'd have to be a really good case. But she's still not throwing me away. How about that? And I've never felt comfortable to say that with anybody. I want you to challenge yourself and look at your relationships and ask if you can say the same to them. Anyway, we're all done. Allison, as we go, is there anything that you want to wrap up with, sweetie?
Oh my gosh, no, other than thank you for the time. I think we've got an incredible friendship story to share.
Cheers to
and
that.
For any of you listening, I hope you manifest and find the perfect relationship that works for you, and put the time in for it, because it's so worth it.
So worth it. It repays you in ways, like I said, got sick, didn't ever know how much I would need this woman physically, literally, actually showing up in my life, let alone a real voice in the middle of the night when I'm in tears because I think I'll never be right. And she assured me, you will not only be right, you will be better. And she's not been wrong one time. Thank you. So that whoever's in your life, love them. I love you.
I love you. You were amazing.
And we are sending this kind of love to you. It's not easy. It's not immediate, and you might go through some trenches, but it is promised. If you're an earth angel or an empath, that you can have it, you can get it, and you can manifest it. And when you get it, you cherish it. Do not think you can just find it. It's not a dime a dozen. This woman is irreplaceable. Okay? Period. Don't care about whatever new magical thing comes in my way, new sparkly things, new job opportunities. I'm focused. I have a friend, and I'm so grateful, because you don't get many in your life. Remember that, especially as you get older. She said a point that was so good about the place you are in your life dictates the type of friendship you need. It's hard to make friends when you're older. Wouldn't you agree? Like, it's just...
It is. Your level of friendship changes. I don't need a superficial, gossipy, no.
That's one thing she is not.
No.
No.
You really have to know yourself and know what's going to add value to your life. And I don't have time for shenanigans, and you are zero shenanigans, ever.
Shoot from the hip. I detest confusion and shenanigans. Never been confused with this woman. I know exactly where she is, what she feels, and how it is. And that's what I see. Sometimes people like confusion and crazy. I don't. I really don't. So I'm so grateful. It's a relationship I can keep working through for whatever. And we're so lucky because it's been pretty beautiful. And but I want you to think about that for you. Do you like confusion? Do you like gossip? Maybe you want someone to dish with. Maybe that's your thing. Our dish is about our life. It's never about people. Does that make sense? Like, we decompress
Except
about...
for maybe Harry and Meghan.
Girl, my bestie also knows that she's full of shenanigans. That's why she's really my no. But anyway, yes, you will have some similarities. Anyway, my point is, when you get older, your needs are different. So don't, if you have someone in your life and there's a bit of a row happening, it is worth figuring it out if you value them, because you are not. There's never another Allison coming. This is it. It's the best it gets. And another thing too I will add here is that we both know that about each other.
Absolutely.
We both talk about all the time, I don't need to shop. I don't need to go anyplace else. I don't need to taste and see. The ex-person in my life was still shopping. She wasn't sure about me after 20 years. And I said, okay, let me make the decision for you. So if you're in that situation, make the decision for someone. And then even though you may think, oh, this is it for me. No, I couldn't have even imagined the upgrade I would get in the best way. So choose you, and then have someone that chooses you too. And then never forget to choose them as they choose you. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sharing energy with me. I hope that there are some nuggets in there. Watch both parts. And if you have any questions, we'll obviously do a follow-up at some point. All right. Anything else before we go, Allison?
No, thanks.
All right. Guys, so good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.